Everybody, welcome back to the Way Up North podcast.
Welcome back to quarantine.
To the Way Up North podcast with your favorite co-hosts, Will and Andrew. Also, I almost forgot.
Is that a Coors Light?
Coors Light.
Dude,
Ready.
in all honesty, that should be the number one hydration drink in America.
In a Sam Adams cup.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect beer pour.
Probably not.
Is that ASMR? Can you hear that?
Can you hear my boiler going off right now?
Slightly. This is the scuffed episode, boys. This is the bad episode.
This
look
is
at that.
This is this is an absolutely fucked episode. We're gonna have a guest host tonight. At least once.
A guest host?
Ah, come here. His name is Simba. He doesn't like me very much right now. Okay, sorry. But he's over here trying to bother me, and then when I try to play with him, he just backs off. He's trying to bite me now. Stop, I'm just trying to pet you.
If you're an audio listener only, you need to watch the video of this episode because Will is currently being attacked by him.
He's really ferocious. I ain't fucking around with him.
He's been up by my house before.
All right. Yeah, he travels far and wide, from what I've heard. He's a bit of a traveler.
He's like Simba. He's like the Pride. He travels all across the Pride.
Yeah.
Lands. So this episode's going to be a little different. We were planning on having a guest this episode. I'm not going to dox who it is.
Rest in peace, Nick.
But rest in peace, Nick. That's right, everybody. The wonderful and powerful, as Joe Rogan says, Nick DuPont was supposed to be on the episode this week, but because he lives in Danelandia, as we call it, he is currently probably sleeping.
No, it's like 1 in the afternoon over there. 2 in the afternoon now.
1 in the morning, dude. It's
no.
They're 5 hours ahead.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Also, check this out, bro.
Oh wow, I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
So Cass wanted to surprise me because we got in a long discussion the other day talking about like Gushers, Fruit by the Foot, and like fruit roll-ups.
Right.
So we did the takeout order groceries. Like we can order them online and then pick them up in Farmington. So she was going to surprise me by getting a king-size box, just one king-size box of it was fruit roll-ups, Fruit by the Foot, and Gushers.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they didn't have any at all. So what they did to compensate us was they gave us 3 king-size boxes of just the fruit roll-ups.
Dude, fruit roll-ups are so good.
Fruit by the Foot and just the Gushers. So there are
fruit by the Foot is amazing.
So there are 3 boxes on top of the fridge that are king size, and
I guess I know where I'm coming for all my Fruit by the Foot needs.
King size, and we measured it. It's like 5. It's like probably 5'2".
Shit.
There's 5 feet of candy on this.
That's impressive.
So that is basically the goal of this episode. No, we're going to talk about what's going on in the world, man. So,
well, we're going to avoid what's going on in the world and talk about what's out of this world.
So, that was good. Now, you're getting so good at your transitions.
So, somebody has to.
All right, can I make this part of the thing too? Open my Fruit by the Foot.
Dude, we're going to turn into an ASMR channel so quick.
This is a visual bit. Ready? This is the most messed up, scuffed episode. Like, I have, I'll admit to the audience right now, Will and I, because we had no backup plan for Nick, because Nick canceled on us. Did he just message me? No, it was you.
In all honesty, I think this is our most improvised episode ever. Even at the beginning.
Everybody know that it's gonna be a rough one, so prepare.
It won't be. I think we'll do well. Yo, you can't be playing with that. Get out of here. Stop hitting that. Hey, scram. Here, go play with this or something. Look. Woo! Go get that. Don't be playing with that. I have to talk. Yeah, this isn't a new headset I bought. People were yelling at me when I would play Call of Duty because my other mic wouldn't work well, so I bought a new one and it has lights on it. I look like a nerd wearing it, but
I'm gonna eat this whole fruit by the foot over the episode. So,
All right.
all right. So we're talking about how the Pentagon released the 3 UFO videos that was taken by the Navy.
So
A couple, what is it?
little bit of a disclaimer. I haven't watched the videos. I've heard about them over the years. Being in the Air Force, I've heard stories, and I've even in the news, there's been articles about pilots, Navy pilots seeing stuff.
Well, that was a couple months ago, right?
Yeah. One, I think it was a couple months ago out in the Midwest.
I think it was like last. Oh no, I want to say it was probably close to a year. It was probably like last summer. The videos came out that they were talking about.
Maybe
they had seen them.
But it's interesting to see. I don't know. I think they're, in my opinion, they're doing it to push their Space Force initiative.
Okay.
But I think it's cool to see that they're actually like, hey, look, we've seen some shady shit, and we don't know if it's swamp gas or not. Why don't you guys take a look? So
this is an article from The Guardian, and if anybody hasn't seen this video, I haven't seen it either. Neither of you, so we're totally not valid in discussing it. So this is an article from The Guardian. I'll shout out that so the Pentagon on Monday released 3 declassified videos that shows U.S. Navy pilots encountering what appears to be an identified flying object. The grainy video, which the Pentagon depicted unexplained aerial phenomenon, because that's what they're calling it now. They're calling it UAPs rather than UFOs.
Okay.
Unexplained aerial phenomenon was previously leaked.
That's fair.
And shown to be a UFO. I mean, I'm sure we're always going to call them UFOs, but now they're trying to change the phrase. So they released these videos, and I believe they were if you've seen it, it's in black and white. They're trying to track. I believe it's just they're tracking these very fast objects that they can't be identified.
Yeah, I can't get anything to pull up for me right now on my phone. It's interesting because I've heard plenty of stories. There's documentaries and stuff. Pilots have said, yeah, I've seen things fly past me that were going like at speeds we could never imagine going at. And it's weird to hear that from somebody that is actually in an aircraft, and not on the ground and trying to take care of their cows and seeing one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never understood why they called it fruit by the foot.
Why?
I never understood why they did.
Because it's by the foot.
How many feet is it? Why is it by the foot? Why didn't they just call it fruit by the 3 foot or something like that?
I don't know. It just probably rolled off the tongue better.
Yeah.
You need to watch this video. You need to watch this podcast video. Like, whoever's been watching it.
Dude, wait till you see. I already have an idea for an edit on that. It's going to look good.
So I'm going to let you take complete liberties with editing. So, like, the only things I require is that we have a fade in the beginning and a fade out at the end. Whatever you want to screw around with in the middle, like, go ahead. Be my guest, please. I'm thinking maybe in the future, too, like, we're recording this on Zoom, as people know. And all it is just 2 screens. So you could probably take them and move them around wherever. So maybe if we have, like, a background design we want to change or whatever. Whatever. We're going to try to have fun with this because, we have to enjoy it since you're going to be trapped here longer than you expected.
We'll see. I got more news about that yesterday, the day before.
Good or bad?
It's up in the air. Right now it's more like roulette. So I don't know if I'm going, but I need to be ready to go. They have May 17th as the date, but it might not be the date. So in other words, they don't know if I'm going. Just kind of hope that you are. And that's where I'm at. I've got two plans right now. I've got a plan and a backup plan. My backup plan is kind of like still flimsy. The plan is to go to Afghanistan.
Well, what's the backup plan then?
The backup plan is to be in Maine the rest of the summer and work in the fields, and then after your wedding, go to Afghanistan. But
how are you going to make money doing that, though?
Well, here's the thing. is I haven't quite figured that out yet,
Mm.
and that's the part of the plan that is flimsy.
We're not making money on the podcast yet, so you can't
No,
account on
correct.
that for income.
I could make money working in the fields, but I wouldn't get enough hours a week to pay for things because I still have rent back in Vegas, so it's kind of tough. If I didn't have rent in Vegas, I'd be all right, I think, but
Yeah.
I do, so there's that.
They're not like giving you like a little bit of leeway with everything going on.
No.
Wow.
No, it's you got to jump through so many hoops. It's not worth my time, in all honesty. It's just so much extra work.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the plans, and well, we'll see which one happens, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the plan was, as we quickly had planned prior, because we got we were screwed over by our wonderful friend Nick because he decided he wanted to sleep.
I guess that's fair. I didn't realize what time it was over there.
Yeah.
Feel kind of stupid for not knowing.
Well, I worked late today, and the whole podcast kind of works around my schedule because you can.
I'm literally like free all the time.
So like, our podcast revolves around my schedule for the most part.
Right.
So we decided, because with the whole UFO thing going on right now, decided that what. Let's talk about space and things like that. I know we kind of had an episode
about space already.
We did with No Man's Sky. Was episode 3, I believe, with Verm. So I guess we can talk about whatever, space movies. We talked about Star Wars a little bit last week.
So I just watched. Ironically, I just finished the movie I was watching with my parents. You've probably seen it. It's called Extinction.
Extinction.
It's on Netflix.
I do not think I've seen that now.
Oh, I won't give you any spoilers then, but it is a
space movie.
It's one of those movies that like you watch and you wonder how far away we are to being in that position. It's just so cool. I don't know. I'm just so fascinated with space and stuff. It's tough like to shut up about it, but if I start talking about it, I won't shut up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you go right ahead.
So I guess
perfect for this. This is the perfect platform to literally talk and not shut up about it.
I guess what we could start with is, do you think because even like you said, they changed the name from UFO, unidentified flying object, to what now? Unidentified.
It was unidentified aerial
figure.
P. It starts with the P. Unidentified
projectile.
Phenomenon. Unidentified.
Okay.
So an AP. So a UAP.
So they've changed it from UFO to UAP, meaning that it's not necessarily anything we can comprehend. So asking if you think there's aliens is, I think, a poor question, because I think aliens puts them in a box. You know what I mean? It limits what could potentially be out there. So do you think there are bigger phenomenon out there?
Are you asking that question directly to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I would like to think that there's another species out there. But I think, a lot of people think, these species who are coming to visit us are, way more developed than we are. And I'm under the assumption that, yes, that's probably true. But there's probably also species out there who are way less developed. There's probably species who, we talked about, not in the podcast, but like the apes and the monkeys have just entered the quote unquote Stone Age here on Earth, because they're starting to use tools now. So you kind of have to imagine that, like, if there is another species out there, how far are they developed? And that if we are seeing them, like, if there's one that can visit us, that means there's definitely more, because if we exist and there's another one that exists, and there has to be, like, way more that exists.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like to think about or compare it to is, because it rains diamonds on Jupiter, doesn't it? or something like that.
I have no idea.
I don't remember. There's
I'm not very.
there's one planet in our solar system that
Oh, you might be right. Fact check that.
it might be Saturn. Scientists believe that on Jupiter and Saturn it rains diamonds, because the atmospheric data for the gas giants indicates carbon abundant in its dazzling crystal form. So, like, if things like that are possible in this universe,
Yeah.
if the thing we consider a precious stone that people have killed each other over for can just rain on another planet, I feel like us as humans, that is hard to comprehend in general. And like, unless you were there seeing it, you can't really comprehend it. So I think in a universe that is so big, I don't think the possibilities are limited. It's kind of like numbers. It's not like the numbers just go to like 100,000 and stop. Oh, well, that's done. Well, see you later. There's infinite numbers, meaning there's infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
So I think like I said earlier, there's just too many. We can't understand it. What it comes down to, we're not smart enough to comprehend what's going on out there.
No, but I mean, there's people out there who can use the correct amount of brain power to like decipher possibly what could be out there. What we can expect, but like it kind of arcs off what I said. Like there could be a species that is hundreds and hundreds of years more developed than we are out there.
But there could also be hundreds and hundreds of years less. And I think that's one problem we have is we don't give ourselves as human beings credit towards how intelligent. Well, I can't say we're very intelligent now. I think the average IQ in the United States right now is 96.
You're the stats guy today, so I mean, I have the UFO thing up. I guess I could look at things.
98. The average IQ in America is 98. And dead
air. This is dead air. This is me ranting.
I'm trying to find out what do you know what the minimum IQ level is before you are considered handicapped
stupid.
Or whatever it is. Yeah, stupid.
I mean, I'm gonna just be. That's not like I didn't say anything wrong.
I don't think that's. No, I don't think so either.
Stupid, basically. Like
stupidity.
I know what you mean, though.
I don't know. What do you want? Stop staring at me like that.
Your cat coming at you, bro.
Somebody posted an article saying IQ is a really stupid concept. Lowest IQ score ever. The lowest IQ on average in the world is 59, with the highest being 108.
It'd be a good video idea if you and I like took IQ
quizzes. That'd be cool. So it looks like So they got it on a bell curve.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it here. They got it on a bell curve. The middle is 100.
Yeah.
And then you have, I think it would be to your left, it goes down. To your right, it goes up.
Yeah.
And basically, the average 34% is between 85 and 115. And then from 85 and down, I think is like where you get your dumbs, and then 115 and up is where you get your smarts.
I just found that exact IQ group, the picture you said.
But 85, like, just think about it. We are. All right, so I said 98 and 85. That's what, 13 IQ difference from being stupid.
Yep.
Averagely stupid in America. That's kind of scary to think. I mean, maybe it's always been like that, but to me, I feel like we're getting dumber. We're becoming more reliant on our technology, and I think it's making us dumber at the end of the day.
I don't know what's more scary, though. If you think about the people who take an IQ test, like people who actually take IQ tests, like generally those people who do take IQ tests believe that they are an intelligent person and believe that they can do these IQ tests. there's a lot of middle America and a lot of America. I'm not saying middle America meaning like the middle of the country, but there's a lot of America that
Right.
doesn't take the IQ test because, first of all, they probably don't know how to get to an IQ test. So if you think about those people who are not in the statistic
Yeah.
and then add them, it's probably a lower average score after that.
You mean?
I'm saying that there's a lot of people who probably.
Oh, you mean nationwide? You mean
Yes,
nationwide
yeah.
IQ
So there's
score?
people who
Okay.
would probably get even lower scores.
So
if we
you
drop
think
our
it's
average down.
you think it's so where if everybody took a test in America,
Yeah.
just America alone, where do you think we would lie at an average IQ?
Looking at that graph,
I don't know how accurate that graph is. I don't know. It's IQtest.net. It seems pretty legit to me.
yeah. Looking at a graph, I mean, I would say. What did you say? What did you say
So-
we're now?
So 1 to 24 is profound mental retardation. 25 to 39 is severe mental retardation. 40 to 54 is moderate mental retardation. 55 to 69 is mild. 70 to 79 is borderline, and 80 to 89 is low average.
I would say probably.
Meaning-
I would say probably borderline then.
You think it would be down to 70, 79?
I mean, I'm not trying to say the country's dumb, but I'm saying like the people who aren't taking the IQ test are people who
Yeah.
probably would bring the statistic down. I'm not saying a specific
True. No,
person
I agree with that.
or
I
group
agree
of
with that.
people. I'm just saying people who don't take the test.
But
Now,
I
there's probably,
guess,
but you know, on this at the same time, as I say that, there's the other side where people who are like, I would kill an IQ test, and
yeah.
you know. So I mean, it's hard to say exactly what it would be.
Hmm.
I feel like if the entire country was to say, like, you know how they send the census out to everybody,
Yeah. They took
Say
an
it-
IQ test
say
instead.
every year or every 10 years, the government sends out an IQ test and everybody has to take it. Say it's like you
Mhm.
have to take it and send it in. I feel like it would be lower, personally.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I guess. Oh, sorry, my hot dogs are kicking.
And maybe
back
that's
up.
kind of this is kind of a hot take, but maybe that's kind of on our education system because as a country, our education system is not as great as other countries. I love all my teachers.
I agree,
and
but I don't.
I know we have teachers who listen to this podcast, so this is not a shot at you personally. This is just a shot
No,
at
not
the
at
entire
all.
education system.
I don't think the education system is taken care of enough.
No.
And I think that's a huge problem. And I'm not very knowledgeable on the topic.
So much for talking about space, huh?
Well, it all goes back to our intelligence. I don't think people give us enough credit, but at the same time, sometimes I think we get too much credit. Like you have to have a fine balance. It's just like everything in life, and I say this a lot. You have to understand that you're not the dumbest, but you're not the smartest, and meet in the middle.
Mhm.
And when you do that, when you meet something that's smarter than you, you're not going to think it's a deity. And if you meet something dumber than you, it won't become smarter than you and kill you because you think it's better than it. At the end of the day, you just got to kind of work it all out, right, Kat?
Exactly. I'm just looking up where does the United States rank in education?
Probably,
if you had to guess,
I'd say, I don't know how many ranks there would be, but if it was like out of 100, I would say maybe 40 something.
We are 27th in the world.
Out of how many?
Let me pull up the exact amount. I don't know. I mean, how many nations are there? Is like that would be the.
Well, you got to think how many of them are being tracked for their education system.
Oh, I hate this. Like, turn on. Looks like you're using ad blocker. Yes, I'm using ad blocker. I don't want ad blockers. Leave me alone, please. Whatever this article. So yeah, like we're 20. I mean, I feel like if you're not ranked in the top 10, it's not considered great.
Yeah, no, I'll agree there 100%. I won't argue with that at all. It's tough. I don't, like I said, I think people look too down on us as a species. Yeah, we're not very smart, but we've developed a lot.
Mhm.
and we've become intelligent, but now that we have the intelligence, we don't use it. And I'm sure there's maybe something out there that was like, oh, hey, well, we're going to use this intelligence for the better. Because I'm sure somewhere else something created a computer and said, well, we're going to do good with this instead of post TikToks all year, dude. I'm sure that's probably going on in some other version of the universe.
Oh, for sure. All right. This is a pop quiz test for you. Our friend Nick is from Denmark, right?
Okay.
I
Yep.
believe that's where he's from. If he's, yeah, he might be lying about that too, because he lies about a lot of things.
Could be.
Where do you think Denmark is in the education system ranked? If you had to guess.
Denmark's, I think, a little higher up than us, maybe 20.
I'm sorry to say, Will.
They're lower, aren't they?
Denmark, but this is according to a 2016 poll, so it's a little old.
I don't think 4 years.
They are ranked third in the world.
Oh,
for
shit.
education.
Okay.
As of 2016. Now, I'm sure they're probably around there somewhere now, because in 2015, the year prior, they were ranked third as well. So,
right. So I would say number one is what, the Netherlands or Sweden?
the number one, this is all, I'm trying to find a more recent one because this is all 2016 education.
I don't think it might have changed a little bit, but I don't think it's changed much.
I'm going to say ranked in 2019, just so that way it's.
You know, here's the thing about our species. If we, instead of looking for having goals for domination and ruling and making money on this earth, and put all our minds together to work together and, you know, travel outwards, we would be able to succeed. But if we continue to stay divided like we are, we'll never figure anything out. And that's what makes us dumb, actually, if you ask me. Because it's been clear throughout history, when humans work together, things get done, things get accomplished.
Oh, for sure.
And for goodness sake, people have built things like the pyramids and stuff. Like, look what we were capable of.
I think aliens built pyramids.
No,
man.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen that meme where it says aliens invented pyramids, and then it shows a video of a YouTube guy building a multi-million-dollar swimming pool just using sticks? It's a pretty good meme, but my point being is, you know, we don't get enough credit
as human beings
for being smart. We don't give ourselves enough credit for being able to accomplish what we can. But at the same time, we don't work together enough to accomplish those things anymore.
That's very true.
And needless to say, if the pyramids were built by us, they were built by slaves.
I mean, I feel like
you can't tell me.
There's no way there is no way in the world.
The Egyptians, there's no way in the world the Egyptians wanted to do that.
And there's no way in the world that would take, you know, like, it's not like, I'm going to hire this contracting company to build all these pyramids. Like, these people were definitely forced to walk. And then you know what they did after that, though, right? They cut off their heads and they rolled them down the pyramid. I don't know how factual
like a slinky. That would be pretty epic. But human history, if you go way back, everything was built off the backs of slaves everywhere. People used to conquer other nations out in the Middle East, and that's how things were built. So I think saying that the pyramids were built by aliens rather than pyramids were built off the backs of slaves is kind of far-fetched.
I'm smiling right now. So we were kind of talking about I got stuck on like the ranking thing. So I went on this website, usnews.com, and they have overall best ranking countries. If you had to guess overall, where do you think the United States is ranked?
Does it say how many there are?
It does not. If you had to guess out of 20, how about the top 20?
Out of 20,
the United States is
it would be 20.
Actually, United States is ranked 7th.
That's a load.
Overall country. Overall, the country is ranked 7th. You know where Denmark is ranked?
Education-wise?
No, overall, like if based on statistics. Let me look at the exact statistics for a second here.
It's going to be based off of like wages and stuff.
This is based off adventure, citizenship, cultural. Wow, I can't speak.
Cultural. I got you.
Influences, entrepreneurship, heritage, movers, open for business, power, and life quality of life. So those 9 different statistics, the United States ranks 7th. I want to look at the exact amounts for each.
I think that's a fair rank.
And Denmark ranks 13th. So we can rub that in Nick's face.
I think
we are rated number 1 in power. Now, does that mean power as in?
It's gonna mean like electricity, yeah. It's got to.
I feel like it.
I don't think it could mean military-wise, but I don't.
The world's most powerful countries are also ones consistently dominated by news headlines, preoccupied policy markets, makers.
Okay, so
global economic patterns, foreign policies, military budgets. Yeah. So basically, what you said, it's based on like their overall like power.
Yeah, with their stance in the world.
We are ranked number 3 in entrepreneurship, which makes sense.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of business, like there's a lot of entrepreneurs.
Almost anybody can start a business.
And cultural, the one I can't say apparently because I cannot say cultural. Cultural influences. I swear, as I had one beer. I'm not. We're at number 4, which makes sense too because you have to think about all over the country. The United States was considered a melting pot of the world at the time when it was first established.
So the cultural influences are coming from other countries.
And yeah, everywhere. So like, of course. And then quality of life, we're ranked 15th. Denmark is ranked 2nd in quality of life.
That's a weird one though, because I don't know. The United States is such a culturally diverse place, and there are so many different kinds of what's the word I'm looking for? Not civilizations. So many different kinds of places to live. I can't think of a better term for it at this point in time, but there's just so many different places to live, so many different options. I don't know.
So the bottom line question is, Will, do you believe in aliens?
Hell yeah. I don't believe in it. I hate asking a question like that. I hate it.
Why?
Because I don't think they'd like that. We have to call them something that would not offend them.
Well, you have to think, what are they calling us? Because
I think there's aliens. I think there's extraterrestrial life. I think there's for all we know, it doesn't even have a form. It could be formless for all we know. We don't really know. When you think of aliens, you think of this thing with a body and energy flowing through it, but it could just be energy. We don't know. And I think that's the crazy part is who the fuck knows what's out there?
It's true, man. I mean, you think about all the I think a lot of our opinions on aliens is based on movies and film, like we kind of talked about earlier. Like, think of Star Wars, the movie Aliens, Predator.
Well, before that, because it had to have started somewhere. I'm really intrigued I want to know where it all started. Like, who was the first person to envision this? And because it had to have been tall tales. Over the years, things get passed down and stories get told. But there had to have been a starting point for all of it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But
I'm looking it up right now to see who's the first person.
It's pretty fascinating to think that, because we've only explored like what 20% of our our oceans, I think,
We know more about space than we know
than
about
we
the
do
deep,
our own oceans,
deep depth, which makes sense.
which is terrifying though, because we don't know what's down there.
I
And
mean,
we've seen, like for example in the Marianas Trench, we've been down there I think 3 maybe 4 times tops, and we have found some of the most incredible things that we had no idea could exist down there. Like I think we need to explore more of our oceans first and see what there is to find before we go ahead and take these risks and jump out into space.
yeah, I agree. I
Because
think
maybe the answers we need lie below. Like
not bad.
there's so much more ocean than there is land. If we are looking for answers, it could be in the ocean. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Just got an
This
email.
is another thing. Speaking of percentages, we only use 10% of our brain capacity.
It's crazy to think. You think about the movie Limitless, the TV show Limitless.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
Yep.
It's crazy to think what like we could actually do if like our brains were
Well,
used to full
we don't know
capacity.
what we could do.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be crazy to see what we could do.
Well,
And
and
who knows?
that's
These other
why.
species are using the full capacity of their brains.
Well, what if they are us, but they learned how to use that full capacity?
See, that's what when I envision, like, I feel like this is I wouldn't say unpopular opinion of it, but when I envision aliens, I just picture like humans.
A better version of us.
Yeah, but like still human.
Somebody that was able to take the best of what we are and expand on it instead of getting caught into the crap that we get caught into, like making podcasts.
You think about that low, like if you want to get down on like that low of a microcosm of a scale, like we're basically just talking to each other through technology about whatever.
If we could use the full capacity of our brains, and maybe somebody already has, like maybe that is what the extraterrestrials are. Maybe it's us being able to use our full capacity. Like, I think that's crazy. Talking about it makes it sound so simple, but thinking about it, like, how the hell would we even do that?
I mean, I feel like it would kind of be like the way that Limitless had kind of put it is like there's a drug that you take that allows you to access more of your brain, because you think about like I mean, I'm speaking completely out of my ass on this because I know nothing about the brain and like how everything works.
Right.
But I
actually,
feel like
somebody that does, we could bring Earl in sometime, because he is pretty knowledgeable on the brain. He's not a brain surgeon or anything, but he's had issues growing up. I think it's the right. I think it's the right side of his brain that is dead, and he only his left works. But he knows a lot because he's dealt with these issues growing up.
Yep.
So we could bring him on sometime and talk about it more. But
cool.
Continue on.
Shout out to Earl. Everyone knows Earl. He's a famous Rocket League player.
He's a part of a pro team, but he doesn't play for the pro team. But you can check out his Twitch at the Great White RL. That was the Great White RL on Twitch.
How do you spell that?
Like the Great White Shark. It's all no spaces.
But it's just RL.
Yeah, like Rocket League.
Oh, I thought it meant like Earl.
No. So what were you saying about the Limitless, like the drug?
It would be like that. I feel like you would have to take a drug that would allow your neurons to like fire up and like allow you further access in your brain, but like
so kind of like when you take DMT and it releases more dopamine into your system.
Yeah, I've never done that, so I wouldn't know. But
sorry for cutting you off. Continue.
I said I've never done that, but so I wouldn't know. And I literally stared at you on the camera.
Anyway, about the neurons.
Anyways, so yeah, I feel like it would fire these neurons up, and that way you would have more access to your brain. Now, I don't know if it would be like the dose would be like the higher the dose, the more access to your brain. But like then you're kind of thinking
Mhm.
like we like you said, we don't know a lot about the brain. We don't know what it's capable of, so we don't
Yeah.
know if like accessing a deeper part of your brain is gonna
I
psychologically
wonder if you
damage
could
you in a
control.
way or what.
Do you think you could control things?
Like the force,
Like
like
if you
move
had
stuff.
100, what do you think? So for example, you had 100% capability of using all of your brain processing power.
Yeah.
What do you think you would be able to do?
Can I rephrase that question and say
Yeah,
what would you want it to do?
that's an even tougher question.
I feel like you could so like I feel like if your brain's powerful enough to do this one thing, it could do a lot
Hmm.
of things. I feel like I'd want to be able to like you said though, like move objects like through just the
Hmm.
power of like
I
wind.
wonder, and like Limitless, I wonder if it would be limitless to what we could do.
Well, I mean, that's why it's called Limitless, right?
Yeah, well, that's my
Like you
point.
just literally gave the premise of the movie. So
That's pretty good, right? Well, let's come back for more movie reviews.
movie exec William here.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
weird,
It would
man.
be cool, man. I
It's
think I would want to like maybe levitate, but then Chris Angel, he can already levitate, and he has
yeah,
the same amount of brain powers we do.
yeah.
By the way, do you magic? If speaking on the believing thing,
Magic is so cool.
do you think magic is real though?
No,
Do you think it's
it's
all like
magic. Magic is an illusion, and I've been watching. So there's a show called Penn and Teller's Fool Us. I
Penn
don't
and
know if you
Teller?
know. Yeah, Penn and Teller. So they have this show where they bring magicians on from
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
so they're in the UK right now. Because I just started, and basically the magicians try to fool them, and they're master magicians, so it's hard as hell to do, but some people do it. But it's all about being in control of the situation and making it look like you're not in control, making it look like the person observing you is the one that has control over the situation,
about. Yeah.
and making it feel like that 100%, and they don't notice that you're doing things behind their back without them catching on. So it's all, to me, it's sleight of hand. It's you have to be extremely smart to do magic. I believe you
Oh,
have
for
to be an
sure.
intelligent person to do magic.
I mean, I can't even
But
shuffle cards correctly, so I doubt I'd be able to like do magic tricks.
but I don't think, like, so what do you mean? Like, I guess you'd have to
Well,
rephrase
I
it.
mean, I guess you could say like because I know Chris Angel and other magicians like him like do a lot of extreme like I think a lot of his he was like what I was listening to another podcast that he was on talking about some of his tricks that he's done, and it was like one of them he was suspended from a helicopter with only fish hooks in his back and was flying above like or like fire or something like that. Like
He probably can't feel pain. Let's be honest here.
it's and
Or
then I mean I guess that's not really magic though. I wouldn't consider that
no,
magic. It's more or
no,
less
that's
just
just
like
it's really twisted.
it's like pain. It's almost like Pain Olympics, but like on
Oh
TV.
God, dude, come
If you want to
on.
talk about a
No, I'm good. But I don't think, maybe he has some kind of weird fetish. Maybe he enjoys being stuck with
impale,
fish hooks. I don't think, okay, so I think there could be supernatural occurrences, but I don't think that would be as common as it was back in the day, because we're not as connected to the universe as we once were.
yeah.
I don't think um people have much control over. Well, then again, back in the day, you were called a witch for doing something like this. So, like,
I like
the meme.
the no what is it the Salem witch trials. It's like
Oh yeah.
if we drown him, he's not a witch.
Yep.
But if he doesn't drown and he lives, it
He's a
means he's a
witch.
witch.
He must be put to death
So this
again.
man is like dead regardless. Like I
Yep.
just you think about like how far the human brain has developed from then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But I think it's scary to see. I think we're starting to decline again. Or not everyone, but I think we're starting to see a rift between the two.
I think what you're saying is, especially with social media and things like that, there is a flux of people who are on it that, I'm not trying to be insensitive by saying this, but like aren't as intelligent.
They
Not,
exuberate a lack of intelligence.
that's a good way of putting it. So I think we're seeing that side more often. I feel like it's always been there. It's just a lot of it's been kind of,
I think it's
without social media, it was kind of tucked away, but now we're seeing it.
I agree. I think it's like anything that has become a large topic or a controversy nowadays. But I also think that it's increasing with the social media and the internet. And I don't think the internet is necessarily a bad thing, but I don't necessarily think it's a good thing either. It can be used for both.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, I mean, technology is a great thing, and it's going to be
but
used for good and bad.
I think it's making some people dumber than it should be.
Oh, for sure, because there's always things, I mean, I hate, I think one of the biggest things I never wanted to get into on this podcast was like getting super political, but like talking about fake news. Like literally,
Mhm.
you could post something on Facebook, and anybody, who reads that, someone could agree with you, and there are people who disagree with you. I mean, I know we talked
And the
about
whole
that with
article could
you.
be fake.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
speaking of legit fake news, like people post fake articles all the day,
All the
all
time.
the
I mean,
time
think of it.
now.
There's satirical websites like The Onion
Hmm.
that like post fake
Yeah,
articles, but like they're satirical enough that people know
yeah.
that it's a joke, but there's people who believe
Hmm.
that sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it's a hindrance to society. I don't think people like that should exist. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's good to make fun of all the bullshit that goes on nowadays,
For sure.
and it's sad that people can't take a joke. It's sad that, politically speaking, both sides are always at each other's throats.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that middle child that is in between it all the time. Because I don't consider myself to lean to either side.
Mm-hmm.
I I think I pull values from both sides, and I just sit in the middle because I don't want any part of it. Like, keep me out of it.
I know. I think the only thing I would say against that is that like the reason why we don't see such, because you think about it, there's two parties,
Hmm.
and all you hear is like the most extreme people on each side.
Yeah.
But there's a majority of the country who is right in the middle about everything. Like you and I share that.
Hmm.
Like I am like very like in the middle kind of person as well. Like
Yep.
there's a lot I agree with for both sides. I agree with both sides on certain
Yeah.
topics, but there's a lot of other things that both sides say that I am, you know, against
We should take a
entirely.
sometime we should take a political quiz for the podcast to see see how similar we are.
I wish
We'll
we
take it.
I wish we would have like, I remember in high school we had in our government class we had to take
Hmm.
one, and I
Yeah.
remember mine being very like extremely blue. Like I was extremely like
I think as we
liberal
grow up,
leaning.
our our views on life change as well.
Oh, for sure.
I know mine have changed a lot.
I think
I give a less. I don't care as much anymore about the shit that's going on, like in the country as a whole. And I think people would get upset at me saying that, but at the same time, the way I look at it is, as long as my home and my people are all set and nothing is going on, I can't control what's going on out there.
mhm.
We can't control shit that goes on outside of our house, with our neighborhoods
Yeah,
or our town. So why argue about it
for
with each
sure.
other?
For sure.
It's just dumb. You just look like a big dummy.
I think I kind of like, I really don't, I think I'm with you that like I don't really discuss a lot of things. Like I have a lot of opinions, and you've heard what my opinions privately, and
Yeah.
as I kind of shared a little bit about it now, but like I don't like to make my political opinions public because quite
Hmm.
frankly I don't really care to. Like it's just not
Yeah.
something that I want to like represent myself as like the guy who makes Facebook posts about politics, and like I have friends who do it
Yeah.
for both sides,
Yeah.
and I don't comment on either of them because I'm like, because if I say something like this, it's going to contradict them. And
Yeah. I posted something on Facebook today. I said, this just in, your opinions don't matter, but I love you all the same.
see, like, that's like probably the most tame. That's probably the tamest thing you've ever posted on Facebook.
It's honest, though. Opinions don't matter on the internet. And the fact that people think they do, it brings a tear to my eye. It really does. The internet is such a good place to be. And we fill it with all of our shitty opinions.
It's true, man. But I mean, that's how the world works, dude.
And the problem is, and it goes back to being an intelligent species. We have all these distractions that keep us from working together and keep us from becoming an extremely intelligent species. I think we're an extremely intelligent species already, but I think we could be at a different place if, instead of shitting on each other all the time with our opinions and work together, I think we'd be better off. I think we'd be able to grow better.
100%.
I think diversity is needed, but I don't think I guess it comes down to hate, I think, is what I'm trying to say, is the hate and not hate, the fact that people don't understand that people are going to have other opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't get past that. The people that can't get past people with other opinions piss me off. How are you going to improve as a people if you don't get past the fact that everybody's different and they have all their different thoughts?
I think the whole, the thing is like, you need to be open to listening to everybody, like, regardless if you agree with somebody's viewpoints or not, you need to hear them. And I think having rational conversations is what
is needed.
We need, because there's like I said, I like to keep my opinions out of things, but the country is full of people who are not having rational decisions. There's people on both sides who are very extreme, and that's all we see. And it's true, but like I said before, a lot of people are like you and I who aren't saying anything because that's just
it's not worth the time.
It's not our place though. Like, we're at the place where we're so in the middle, and we're like so like in the middle that we don't we're not going to say anything because, quite frankly, our opinions don't really matter.
Yeah, we've identified that our opinions don't mean shit.
We're not going to listen to what we're saying.
Yeah,
because the right's going to hear what we say and think, "Oh, you're really left," and the same thing with the left's going to say, "Oh, you're really right."
Yeah, and then I love when you get into an argument and it becomes a one-sided argument, and it's just that one person yelling at you while you're trying to just talk to them, and it's like, all right, I give up. Have a nice life, buddy. But I think that's another one of the things that holds us back. I think diversity is great, and I think that's what makes us, another thing that makes us intelligent. But the disdain some people have towards each other because of their opinions and beliefs is what is hindering us, or part of what is hindering us. I think there's a lot of factors, but I think that's a major one.
For sure. Man, I tell you what, we freaking covered some ground. We came into this podcast with literally no idea what we were going to talk about. And we have now probably one of the best. I mean, I'm not trying to brag while we're still in the episode. I know you and I think it's pretty
solid.
We talk a lot after the episode, but I'm going to say this on the episode. I think the conversations that we've had today, because, we are kind of getting close to our time here, not to rush you out of here, but I think, I've definitely noticed, and I've heard a couple people say that who have listened have noticed that we are getting better at this as we're going.
Yeah.
Like, obviously circumstances, I wish you could be like right here next to me.
Yeah, circumstances are not ideal right now.
But with those circumstances though, we're doing pretty well. I mean, I think today's conversation was good. Like, I think it was definitely like, I know that if there's people who are going to listen to it are going to be like, they're exactly what I said before. There's going to be people on each side who are going to be like, why did you talk about that? But
I think people are going to be impressed by the
it's
fact that we had an
conversation.
intelligent conversation.
We had probably the most intelligent conversation we've had. Like it's
out of
not
the 15 years we've talked, I think this is probably the most
We s-
most intelligent conversation we've had.
this podcast episode started out so broken because I was pouring a beer and eating a fruit by the foot, and now we've ended talking about our brain
I
power.
think I feel smarter.
I do too. I think my IQ. We should have taken an IQ test at the beginning and at the end. To see
Yeah.
if it's gone up.
Would have been a good idea. We'll have to make a video where we both take the test and see how
Sure.
close we are, and then take a political party test and see where we're at with that.
So Will and I want to do other stuff on the channel too. I think we talked about that last episode, but be on the lookout for stuff. Like I have ideas. I know
It's
you
tough
have
right
ideas.
now. It's tough.
That's being
Just
separate.
bear with us.
I think it'd be a good funny video if I like stood on like we could go stand where the old school is, where the big field,
Yeah.
and we just stood far from each other. And
Like you stood on one end and I stood on the other.
and we just had a conversation that way. That'd be funny because it's social distancing. I mean,
Yeah.
make sure you wear your mask tomorrow.
I won't be going anywhere. I'll need a mask.
That's good. Be smart.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Shout out to Anchor for supporting us in the podcast.
Thank you,
guys have
Anchor.
been
We
great.
appreciate the hell out of you.
I just want to tell everybody who's been a fan of our podcast. I'm going to go ahead and before we wrap up, I'm going to look at our statistics.
We've
here.
made $1.06, I bet.
It's your guess.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for Anchor people who don't know, there's no minimum listener requirement to earn money. So, like, technically, holy moly, our last episode got really good. Like, probably the best. We got 10 plays.
Oh wow, 10 plays, dude. That's through the roof for us.
Us, man. That was better than 100 the last episode when I said we were 100 feet apart. They only got 4 plays. This one got 10.
That's impressive.
So what was your guess? How much money we made?
$1.06.
All right. I'm gonna flex on all you guys. Ready?
I thought we were at $1.
84 cents.
Did you cash out already? Did you
No.
steal that dollar from me?
No.
You bastard.
84 cents. So there's no
we hit
minimum
100
listener
listens
requirement.
already, though, didn't we?
We hit 100 listens like 2 episodes ago.
Thank you for that. I don't think we thanked our listeners for that. So thank you for the
plays, man.
100 total plays.
50 of that was me listening to each episode back after the end, being like, "This is trash. Why did we put this on the internet?"
But thank
it's
you for
fine.
listening to it 50 times, Andrew, and everybody else that's supported us so far.
You guys have been great.
We're trying to make it enjoyable, and if you have any opinions or thoughts or ideas or want to be on the show and have a conversation with us, we're more than
Zoom's
welcome
great,
to.
guys. We can have any guests we want now because of Zoom.
Yep.
Shout out to Zoom, man.
Yeah,
How about
Zoom, thank
Shout
you.
out to you, Zoom. Not a
Yeah.
sponsor.
Sponsor us, please, and
Sponsor us,
I'll get your logo tattooed on my eyeball.
Will needs the money, guys, so sponsor
Yes,
us.
I do.
All the proceeds will go to Will. So donate. Send me a donation on Twitch at Not the Swimmer, and I will forward all the money to Will.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.